Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for coming in. We're just waiting for everyone to come in. Really appreciate you folks being here. Awesome. We got a bit of a crew flooding in. We have Ryan. Hi, Dave. Hi, John. Michael, Amy, Ramiz, Jessica, Francis. Thanks so much for coming on. Feruza, Sharon, thank you. Thank you. We're just going to give everyone a couple minutes to get in. We have Wendy, Clara, Amy, Arpit, Haley. Hello, Shlomo. Shlomo. Good to see you, Shlomo. Saad. Thank you. Thank you. We're just going to give everyone a couple moments to pile right in. Really appreciate you coming on. And I'm just testing out our mics to make sure everything is good. Excellent. We have a bit of a crowd today. Appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, Karash. Let's see here. Okay, awesome, awesome. Hey, folks. My name is Brian Prasad. I really appreciate for everyone being here. I'm really honored. Wow, we have quite a bit of people coming in. A little bit about myself, if you don't know, I wrote a book called Investing in Condominiums. It's in bookstores, chapters, Amazon, everywhere. I had a TV show. The reason why I had all these opportunities is that I do a lot of research on real estate to try to determine why real estate goes up in value. I hold up at the Robarts University, Robarts Library, University of Toronto, just reading a lot of studies on what causes real estate values to go up. And then I started applying it to different markets in Canada, across Canada. And I was always really enthusiastic talking about it. And that led me to getting speaking engagements. Speaking engagements led me to get to TV shows, book deals, and most importantly, it attracted people who wanted to invest into real estate. During that time, I was doing all that studying. I got some practical knowledge on how real estate doesn't always follow what you read in books, and it's really important to apply practical knowledge on why real estate goes up. So I've been spending the last couple years since 2005 when I got into this, combining the two. And over that time, I've allowed investors to generate a lot of wealth. A lot of wealth. I actually have some young guys that are retired that are just living off the cash flow from the real estate. They bought, they refinanced, they bought some more, and it's all cash flowing. So we also help with managing people's portfolio to say, hey, this is a good time to sell. And this webinar is really aimed at helping you start. And if you're looking at pre-construction, you like it, you like the fact that a condo goes up a lot in value during the pre-construction period, especially if you work with a platinum agent like myself that always gets it at a real discounted price. And one of the things that I discovered when I was doing research on my book is the effect of master plan communities and how it drives real estate value. It's a real big factor for real estate values to go up, being part of a master plan community and being early in the master plan. And I have a good case study here. It's Galleria on the Park, and phase 3 is coming up. Galleria on the Park applies everything that we know about urban planning that drives real estate values. Have great public space, public infrastructure, combining retail, having good density, being close to traffic, mixing up the uses between public space, recreation, entertainment, mixing uses. When you look at it, an area with mixed uses, those are the areas that people want to be. And those are the areas that go up in value more when the market's good and hold their value when the market doesn't do so good. Mixing uses with density and every book that you read, every study you read on urban planning, if the real estate is well priced there, it always does really well in a growing city. So Galleria on the Park is a huge master plan community. It will have over 3,000 units coming in. It has an 8-acre park, um, and most importantly, 300,000 square feet of retail. When I look at this little pocket of Galleria, it comes to mind areas that are a lot higher in value right now, where you would have a 5 or 6 year old building that are a lot higher in price per square foot value than Galleria on the Park is, and what phase 3 is going to be. So I saw a lot of potential for growth over there. And if we look at any buildings, and I'm looking at any buildings that are close to parks, like NYC at Young and Merton, so actually overlooking a cemetery, I found huge premiums on views that are overlooking a park and versus views that are not. And this will also have CN Tower views because it's all residential in the area. So there's nothing going to be blocking it. Views are really important. Having park views is dynamite for a condo. And also, we're in a pandemic, and if you look at Trinity Bellwoods Park right now, during the early stages of the pandemic, actually, those were the areas that as soon as things open up, everyone rushed in. They wanted to hang out. And Trinity Bellwoods Park is not going to be as good as the Galleria 8-acre park. So having access to public spaces is really huge for anyone, absolutely anyone living in a condo. I mean, check it out. In the winter, these paths are going to be turned into a skating pad. They're going to have a BMX and skateboard park. It's going to have a lot of trees. You can walk your dog in the summer. And the real big thing is a lot of green space. It's going to have trees and canopies and everything else. And one of the big things about Galleria on the Park is that this master plan, the park and the community center that they're building, has to be complete before they hand over the keys on any of the buildings. So you're not going to be going through a construction zone when all of this is built. It's not going to be built 15 years later after you have the condo. All of this is going to be built as soon as you get your units. Now, this was a big factor what held back City Place back in the day, because they only got the community center and the school and the park done now. And really, City Place has been going on for 20 years. So the city saw the huge need that people have for green space there, and said to the builder, you have to build this before we allow you to be building any buildings. And the builder agreed, which is really a big deal. So I want you to imagine that when the builder is launching their other phases, we're in building 3 in the 8 building community, they're going to be moving their sales center to actually where the park is. So people are going to be seeing this completed park with all the fun and the excitement and everything else. And they're going to see that the builder's charging like $150,000, $100,000 more for your unit. It automatically looks a lot more attractive. And on top of the park, they're going to have about 95,000 square feet of community center space. It's going to have a really big gym. It's going to have swimming pools. On top of the on top of the amenities that you're going to have in your building, you're going to have access to this 100,000 square foot amenity community center space. So here's the master plan community. And we launched building 1 and 2 last year. September of last year and November of last year was phase 2. And it was unbelievable, the response that we got. And it was so weird. It was everyone in this community that was really buying. We did a flyer drop in the area, and the amount of people that we had coming in, we would never be able to do right now in a COVID environment. It was unbelievable. They had thousands upon thousands of order submissions for building 1 and 2 facing the park, those 2 buildings, well oversubscribed, and we sold it out like that. And here's the biggest objection that I got when people were looking at this building, is that it was too far west. They wanted these 2 buildings. And usually what I found in a master plan community is that the builders always build the best buildings last, because that's the ones that they can make the most money possible. For whatever reason, Elad, the builder, chose to be building this building third and then work their way in. So they're building these two first, ground's already broken, and now they're building building three. So each building that will be coming up afterwards is not going to be in a good location, as good of a location as this building here. So this is the premier building, and this is why I think it's a great opportunity for folks considering investing. Get in now, because the builder's going to be raising their pricing on these buildings here, and it's automatically going to make your units a lot more attractive on a per square foot basis pricing. So here's the master plan community facing north, looking from the north going south. So you will be able to see the CN Tower. If we look here, nothing is going to be blocking the north because the train tracks north of DuPont are there. They can't get rid of them. They can't get rid of the houses down there. The only views that are going to be blocked is east and west. And you will be able to angle down to see the south because amazing views. So if you want views, it's definitely a great building to be in. I'm going to be skipping all of this because this is from building 1 and 2. We don't want to be focusing on that. We don't have the details, all the details on building 3 that's coming out, but it's going to be a similar package that they have here. You can access the building through your Apple Watch, keyless entry, smartphone entry, really up-to-date technology. So imagine you're walking, you just be able to open any unit that you have access to, or any of the amenities just from your watch or smartphone. You don't have to be lugging around keys. I think it's going to be really attractive to be able to see all of this. You'll be able to see the cameras and everything else from your units. Really attractive. And on top of the park that they have, the area is full of green space and parks and amenities. And here's something cool that actually I wanted to show you. Skipping all that stuff about the park, I wanted to talk about my research on the master plan. I found when every building I compared master plan communities to, when you bought early, and the appreciation rate of a standalone building, like a standalone building is just a building that you see as a one-off. There's no other buildings coming up. They're not sharing outdoor amenity space. Buildings that are part of a master plan community always appreciate and value more and faster. So we get a higher slope and they appreciate more. So they go up in value more. You can see they start to diverge, and over time goes on, after each building that they build, the price appreciation gap grows and grows and grows and grows. And this is with every building that we've seen. Every building that we see is City Place. Earlier you bought, more appreciation rate. And it was more than any standalone building in the area if we looked at it. And the reason why is that master plan effect of mixing the uses. Not only do they have great amenity spaces that they could share between buildings, but they also have that outdoor amenity pads that people could use. And it creates a community. It really does. So if you look at standalone building and entertainment district, didn't go up in value as much as City Place. If we compared it going back in a little while, every building that we looked at, we saw more appreciation because of that fact. And here's the thing also that I looked at when I was looking at buying. What's the competition in the area? And what's the price difference between units that are existing and potentially ones that are coming up? So if we look at Galleria, this neighborhood, the homes have since gone up. We're looking at now 1.3 million bucks. So getting a $600,000 condo in an area that $1.3 million, there's a big gap there. And what happens, and it's the reason why a lot of people in the neighborhood were buying, they could not buy anything that was good, that was in decent condition, under $1 million. So if they're looking to buy a place for their high school kids, that when they're in university, they want to get into the property market, they just don't have the ability to purchase something that is less than 1.1 and being close to the neighborhood. So there's about, at the time when Galleria 1 came out, there was about an 80% premium. Now that premium has grown. And if we look at downtown condo prices, I expect Galleria 3 to be over $1,000 a square foot. Pre-construction prices is now downtown well over $1,500 a square foot. So there's some cheddar, like to say, gap there that will drive people to want to be there. And downtown condos, because the land pricing is getting harder to move, and I'm seeing everywhere in the area that's really accessible by transit is actually appreciating in value more than in the downtown core. The downtown core is leveling off a bit right now for pre-construction growth. And look at the neighborhood right now. Dufferin and DuPont has nothing around it. No competition for rentals for condos, no competition for condos for sale. If we look at the downtown core, there's a lot of units for sale. So if we're looking, we're in a vacuum here for both the rentals, and we're in a vacuum for condos that are able to be purchased under $1 million. I remember this area when I was an investor first starting out. I would always want to learn what people are doing. And there was all these Brazilian Portuguese people buying up real estate, and they were renting out rooms for Portuguese people coming in. Maybe they were in construction, and the rents they were getting were absolutely incredible. They would be getting $1,700 for a basement apartment in this neighborhood that had above ground windows. And that was what, in 2005, six. The basements were really nice and really big, but they were really getting high rents. The amount of cash flow that these people were getting converting houses into triplexes was unbelievable. And they were in a vacuum because there's really no rentals in the neighborhood. So because of my experience going back for a long time, it's something that really attracted me to the area. Just knowing it, I grew up at Dufferin and Eglinton. We would always go to the Galleria Mall. That McDonald's was always really popular. So I always had a bit of a like a soft spot for it. If we look along Geary Avenue in the area, there's all these cool brew pubs, really great pizza there. The area, what they did is that all those industrial condos that they had in the neighborhood are now turning into brew pubs, microbreweries that people are hanging out in the summer. I mean, last summer, it was alive. It was really great. Back in the early 2000s, we used to always drive by that area, Geary Avenue, because we used to soup up our cars. We used to go there to buy parts, and they would help us with the body kits and everything else. So some of that's still there, but some of those old industrial condos that they had are now cool restaurants, cool bars. And if you look there, it's actually really nice. My parents' real estate agent in the neighborhood was buying up houses there when they were like 200,000-300,000. Now he has a bunch that are well over $1 million. And all he does is just go, when he's bored, just go to fix up the place. And so I've really seen a lot of wealth being generated in this pocket, and there's really no opportunity for someone to buy something under 700,000 in the neighborhood. So I thought it was a really great buy. It's the reason why I jumped in personally. So Hariri Pontieri, the architects, they built the ROM, the Michael Lee Chin crystal structure here. So they're really great architects, a really great brand name. Shangri-La, I mean, come on. That's a really high-end building. They're building One Young right now. They really build a lot of really cool buildings. They're building M City, which is in Mississauga. They're really experienced. The interior designers will confirm for phase 3. But another thing about the builder, and something that I really liked about it, they're Alad. And if we go back to the master plan for the builder, Alad is a really big company. They're one of the few builders that are publicly traded. So they're going to be around a long time. Also, Alad has a lot of experience with retail, so I know that they're going to be getting in really great shops, and for the 300,000 square feet, they're really going to work to be able to create a community. And here's why. Every building that they launch after phase 3, they have to increase the price. So they're actually a partner with you to make sure that everything in the master plan is actually curated to maximize the value and to justify those prices, because this area, there's no condos in the neighborhood. The nearest condo is down the road at Lansdowne and DuPont, upside down condos, Electric City, whatever you want to call it. They were being sold dirt cheap. There's really no comparables. So they have to be able to create a community here, and they have to be able to pull it off. And having a partner, Elad, that owns malls and owns apartment buildings, publicly traded, huge, 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 deep pockets, they need to justify raising the price, and they're going to work to be able to get the good shops, get the good retail, build the building right, get the good places coming in to be able to do it. And I knew for the unit that I had, and I'm just going to pull it up right here. So the unit I had was a 439 square foot, 450 square foot model with a big terrace. The big terrace would be able to look at the CN Tower. Bought it for $530,000. If the condo just goes up 4% from the time that I bought it, I would have made 19% on my money. But what's been actually happening is that in this neighborhood, the condos have been going up double digits. So I just say if it goes up 8%, I'm making 33% of my money. Even if I use today's negative cash flow rents, I don't really care about that negative cash flow, because I'm going to be making 8% growth on it, on the condo. That's all that I want. And I'll be making 33% in my first year buying the condo, even with the negative cash flow. And that negative cash flow, I don't pay until the building is complete. And if I'm putting in 20% down spread over the construction period, I'm not actually putting 20% right away. The builder I know is increasing the pricing. In fact, Galleria 1, they increased the pricing more than 8% during the 10-day cooling off period, some of the units. So I'm comfortable with just an 8% per year growth. I'll be able to get 33% of my money after the first year, after it's completed. And then hopefully during that time period is going up more than 8% per year. And I'm going to make a lot from that while I'm not making any mortgage payments. I'm not dealing with any of the negative cash flow. And I feel comfortable enough to be able to say that this worst case scenario, 8% growth over the 4 years, just 8%, which is 2% per year, I'll be able to make that kind of money from it. And also what I looked at is buildings with comparable amenities that this has, like the big park, the cool retail and everything else. It really reminded me of the Distillery District. In the Distillery District, the best buildings are trading at over $1,000 a square foot. So even if I'm at $1,050 a square foot, $1,100 per square foot at Galleria 2, I know that a 5-year-old building with they don't have an 8-acre park, but they will have cool retail. I can imagine them doing Christmas markets here. So I know that I'm not paying an expensive price at $1,100, under $1,100 per square foot for something with a view of the CN Tower. If I look to my right, I will be able to see the park. If I look straight along, I'll be able to see the CN Tower. So I was comfortable enough with it, and I knew that the layout was attractive enough to be able to attract good tenants and be able to be resold at a good premium when we do get it. So in a nutshell, invest with me in Galleria Phase 3. This is going to be the premier building. It's going to be a cool Flatiron building. We're going to be doing an event next weekend before the plans of pricing comes out, where you can actually submit orders based on the floor plate of the building. I'm really excited to show you this. Before we get the plans of pricing, we'll actually be able to allocate you a unit. Because the builder, we've been working with them since phase 1 and 2. We're a good partner with them, and they'll be able to give us what we need. Where other agents were having a really difficult time submitting orders, we were able to fulfill our clients' orders because we are a buyer, and we also participated with them in their sales in the beginning because we really believe in the project. Next steps, we are going to be doing an event next week. So what I suggest that you do, like always, is go on my calendar, go to my website, bookbrianp.com. That's bookbrianp.com. Let's schedule a time. We'll do a consult. I'll do a one-on-one. Come to our event that we're going to be doing next week. Book a time with us, and let's see you there. I could either do it virtually or in person. Let's get it before the plans of pricing comes out, before other real estate agents get to it, before they start marketing it crazy. 1 week before Thanksgiving weekend, we'll be doing an event close to the sales center. Book an appointment with me at bookbrianp.com, and you'll be able to participate in this really great opportunity that we have coming up. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time. I hope you saw that the master plan effect has huge value. Hope you see that the low price per square foot compared to other buildings with comparable amenities is that are already old, 5 years old, about the same distance east of Yonge as this is west of Yonge. The master plan effect, the great design, the most desirable location. And when I say the master plan effect, we know the builder is going to be raising the price for each phase, let's say about 50,000 for each phase coming in. So that's built-in price growth that we will beat 8% because it's been doing 8% per year. And you're going to be doing better than just sticking this money in the bank. And if we do what this has been going up 8% per year, you're making $42,000 a year just in appreciation on it. So thanks so much. Really appreciate your time. Book a time with us. Take care.